Hey, welcome back. It is Eric Arnold in the secondary studio. It is Thursday, April 1st, in the wee hours of the morning. It's opening day. I mean, can you feel it? I'm actually honestly excited about this. I know it doesn't look it. My wife doesn't think I get excited about anything, but I'm actually looking forward to the baseball season here. If for no other reason, my college basketball season has been so bad that I'm ready to just turn the page, start over with a new sport, and let's see if we can't, find some winners here at some point. I know I keep saying this is a 10-year project and we're in year 2, so I think we've got a lot of runway by that metric to find winners, but I think it would be better if we find these winners sooner rather than later. In year maybe 2.5, we find some winners rather than year 8. So we're hoping that, it seems like kind of almost a real season. They still have some idiotic pandemic things going on. They're still going to put a guy at second base to start extra innings. That's stupid. They're going to have 7-inning doubleheaders. We don't like that. I fear that they're going to shut teams down, for 2 weeks at a time, that they'll still be doing that nonsense. So I'm hoping, they'll have a longer amount of time to work that in so you won't have foolishness like you did last year where the Cardinals are ending up playing 17 7-inning games in like a 12-day stretch, foolishness like that. So that aside, it seems like it's almost a regular season. They're telling me they're going to play 162 games. Of course, we're not going to have any fans. Again, I'm kind of doubtful we'll have fans at all. There'll be some places, I think that they will allow fans, but for the majority, cities are controlled by Democrats, and the Democrats don't want this to end, so no fans. But what do we got here? We got 3 picks for opening day. So we're gonna ease into this. I'd like to, boy, I'd love to win these first couple games. I tell you, more than you can believe. I would really like to win these first couple games. I read old newspapers. I saw a story, an old story, an ancient story, a forgotten story. I thought, the hell with it. I'll tell you this story. That's what we do here in the barn. We tell old stories, right? I mean, the idea is we're trying to learn from history. We're trying to pick up some lessons and apply them to our handicapping to help us get better. I mean, God, it can't hurt, right? This is a story that goes back to 1977. It involves a man named Lenny Randle. He was a middling, pretty good second baseman, played for the Texas Rangers. And then his manager was named Frank Lucchesi. He coached the Rangers. Prior to that, he had coached the Philadelphia Phillies. So he's coaching Lenny Randle with the Texas Rangers heading into the 1977 regular season. So end of March, Lucchesi has decided that Randle will no longer be the starting second baseman. Randle had a couple pretty good years, 74, 75, stayed down. Cat wants to hear more about Lenny Randle. And then in 76, he just had a terrible year. And they had a young, up-and-coming kid they wanted to play at second base. Figured this kid's going to be better. His name was Bump Wills. Bump Wills, if that sounds familiar to you. His father was Maury Wills, famous second baseman for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Being distracted here come here. All right, now just sit there and shut up. Like that's gonna happen. All right, now just sit there and relax. How's that? Anyway, where were we? Bump Wills, Maury Wills. So, Randle, he's upset. He's making all kind of beef, talking to the news media. He's going to quit. He's going to leave the team. He demands to be traded. Lucchesi, annoyed by this, tells the media, I'm sick of punks making $80,000 bitching. You know, words to that effect. He used the word punk. That is a quote. I think 80,000 is also a quote. You know, you're like, wow. You know, I'd bitch too if all I made was 80,000. Well, remember, this is 1977. So then a couple days before the season starts, Randle discusses the issue on the field with Lucchesi. They're taking batting practice in front of, you know, a dozen witnesses, and just all of a sudden Randle just attacks him. Just bam, 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 pow, 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 whack, boom, down, out. Just, you know, attacked him, basically. It was a one-sided fight, let's put it that way, where I don't think Lucchesi ever realized, hey, we're in a fight. Lucchesi ends up in the hospital for a week. He broke his cheekbone. He, you know, other variety of bruises and whatnot. The main injury being a fractured cheekbone. And then, he's all right. Don't worry. He's all right. He's sitting right there. He's okay. Lucchesi not okay. He's in the hospital for a week. So, you know, the Rangers now, what do we do? MLB did nothing. I found that interesting. MLB did nothing. The Rangers suspended Randle for 30 days. Ooh, 30 days. And said, you know, basically they said, well, you're not playing with us again. We're going to get rid of you. And they did. They traded him to the Mets for nothing just to get rid of him. And then, you know, so the point of all this is, you know, I thought it was interesting that a player attacks his manager. I mean, if that went on today, that would dominate the sports headlines for a month, maybe 2 weeks. But, you know, back then it was the 70s. It was just, oh, you know, guy punched out his manager? Nah. It was just kind of an afterthought. So the afterword of all this, and where the lesson I thought I could take from this was that, you know, Randle's a bad guy, you know, to me clearly, you know, the cement his status as a bad guy. It was established that prior to the attack, in the days leading up to the attack, he's asking his teammates, hey, what would happen if a player punched a manager? Bert Blyleven, you know, was on the record as saying, you know, you'll probably never play again if that happens. I don't think they ever took him seriously, but he was asking his teammates. So clearly this is a premeditated deal. He didn't just snap. It was a premeditated deal, so that makes it more jerkish. And then, you know, he never apologized, or at least he didn't in the days after the attack. The article I read said unrepentant, I think was the word used. So, you know, it was a premeditated attack. He had every intention of doing it. The lesson, back to that. To me, this is a me guy. He's a me guy. You don't want to bet on me guys in a team sport. You know, he doesn't give a damn about the Texas Rangers. You know, as it turned out, the player that replaced him, this Bump Wills, was actually pretty good. You know, his stats were superior then in the subsequent years to what Randle had done. Randle goes to the Mets, and the Mets then finish 20-some games below what they did the year before. You know, they get Randle and immediately get worse. So, you know, to me, we're looking for those me guys, those bad guys. those guys that are not team players. If we can find guys like that, I think we can feel comfortable in going, okay, your team is not going to be very good. And that's a thing, something we got to factor in when we're deciding whether we'll play that team or not. So, that was the story of Lenny Randle punching his manager, Frank Lucchesi, at the end of March 1977. All right, here are the games. 3 games. What do we got? Well, I don't even know they're going to play his first game. I mean, I looked at the weather. It's going to be like 33 degrees with 20-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, oh my goodness. And you're going to face Shane Bieber. So this is the thinking that, Bieber to me is just, I think he's the best pitcher in baseball. Yeah, I think I'm going to say that. I think he is the best pitcher in baseball. We're getting him for under 200 here, minus 185. I know no one thinks the Indians are any good. I know no one thinks they can score. I don't know. I mean, the Tigers are good all of a sudden. Come on, this is the Indians and the Tigers. The Indians beat the Tigers. They just do. And I think I just got to win 1-0. We're going to lay the 185. We're not even going to do the run line. We're going to go with the 185 here. I just think the Tigers are just going to, it's cold. I have no interest in standing up there taking pitches against this guy. Let's swing the bats. Let's foul some off. Let's get out. Let's, just head back to the dugout. So, that's all I got there. Dodgers, Rockies. Like I said in the previous video, I think the Dodgers, believe it or not, are actually underrated. That this is the best team in baseball. I don't think it's close. We're getting a superstar pitcher here in Kershaw. His numbers, let's see what we got here. I've got him at 7-1 on opening day. Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, I think you get these aces on opening day. I think that's where you got to look. In that the ace wants to win on opening day. It's a big deal to these guys. The games, there's 162 of these. So if you can find a reason to single out a game as being more important than others, and being the first one, that's always important. Their team wants to win it for the ace. Get him off to a good start. Get him 1-0 and feeling good about himself. And then, so Kershaw, my notes say he's 7-1, or I should say team, the Dodgers, are 7-1 in starts he makes on opening day. Kershaw and the Dodgers, again, not Kershaw's actual decisions. We don't care about that. We just, if Kershaw starts and gets knocked out in the 4th inning, but the Dodgers go on to win, that's all we care about. So in Kershaw starts, the Dodgers have won 11 of the last 13 games in Coors Field. Kershaw starts. So that's pretty good. I think we got every expectation here that the Dodgers are going to win this game pretty easily against a not very good Rocky team. It would take the run line here just because, it's opening day anymore in baseball. They basically shorten up the starters. Maybe Kershaw won't go the whole game. I'm not that upset because I think the Dodgers have an advantage in the bullpen. The Rockies' pen, I don't think it's all that great. The Dodgers get into that Rockies bullpen. You might throw in a coast-type run in the 9th inning off a journeyman AA pitcher. So we'll take the run line there. And then lastly, we're going to take the Angels here. We're going to take a crack with a home team. Late night opener there against Lucas Giolito and the White Sox. Dylan Bundy, he's a forgotten guy. I forgot who this guy was. He's a number 1 pick, was just lost in Baltimore, which is not surprising. He came over last year to the Angels and had a pretty good year. He had a pretty good 60-game season once he finally took off the Oriole uniform. So what do we get with this guy? I mean, I don't know. He's a former #1 pick. It looks like the light bulb kind of went on for him last year a little bit. I mean, if you put resumes up between him and Giolito, they're pretty similar. You know, #1 pick. Stats are kind of similar. Here's why we're taking this game, though. In the Trout era, since Trout's been in the league, the Angels are 26-9 versus the White Sox in Anaheim. In other words, the White Sox, for whatever reason, when they go out to the West Coast there in LA, they got trouble. They have trouble. They've had trouble. It's just one of those places they don't really like to play. I mean, maybe Mike Trout just hits a lot better when he sees those White Sox uniforms. So that's the way we're going there. So, you know, you got your Indians, you got your Dodgers, and you got the Angels. All right, let me hold on. The internet's forever, right? So, hey. He says, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm all right. I landed on my feet. I'm not being abused or mistreated in any way. I'll have the goddamn. I don't want to be attacked by the blue checkmark brigade because the cat took a trip. He landed on his feet. He's just, sometimes, what can you say? I mean, he's on top of you 24/7, and sometimes you have things to do like shoot a video or actually do work. Sometimes the cat is just a little insistent, just a little bit of a pest. But he's fine, right, buddy? You know, he's probably right now blinking out an SOS or something. Some SOS to the PETA people. What is that? That stands for People's Ethical, something like that. Ethical Treatment for Animals. What's a P stand for? PETA. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's not important. At any rate, thanks for being here. We're looking forward to a good baseball season. And let's do it. Signing off.